Welcome to Black and Blue, the podcast that's just for you. We bring solutions to everyday problems. We are here to humanize the badge. By interviewing first responders and discussing their trainings, experiences, and publications. Black and Blue airs weekly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in.
I got a special guest for you guys today. This, like I said, it's a barn burner. You guys are going to love the energy. You guys are going to love the conversation. You guys are going to love the story. Right now, he's a coach, an author, a motivational speaker himself. He's an Army vet of 8 years. He's a retired police officer with 13 years of service. He wrote his own book, The Holy Trinity of Successful and Healthy Police Organizations. Chad Bruckner right here. I got my own signed copy, but you guys can make sure you guys check him out. He's tearing up Amazon right now. He's also tearing up YouTube and LinkedIn, and we're going to jump right into that. He's been lighting it up on these platforms as well. He talks about his experiences. He talks about traumas on and off the job. And not only that, he gives solutions. So it's nice to talk about those things and hear those things, but to have a solution for that as well is a game changer. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to bring him to the stage. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Here he is, Chad Bruckner. Chad, are you there?
Woo, I'm here, brother. Wow. Dude, that was an intro and a half. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm like, who is he talking about? He's not talking about me. That was
Yes.
incredible. I want this position. I want this promotion. I'm going to do anything possible to get it. That's not helpful to anybody. And culturally, I think we've allowed that to happen. We have not put a proper system in place for promotional processes of any rank to understand that, hey, you guys are all competing for a job and a position. By the way, only one of you is going to get it, and we're one team. And at the end, we all have to come together. And this has to be a daily mantra. You have to be building this, developing this culture in this way, and we don't do that. So what happens is you have officers who were best friends, who got hired together, who hate each other 20 years into the job and despise each other. I know many people like that. It's like, how did that happen? And when we don't really want to acknowledge it started on the job. They came and got hired together, and whatever happened on that job, in that agency, in that culture, 20 years, 15 years, whatever, they do not get along. So what happened? We need to ask those questions. To serve. I mean, they got into this profession for noble reasons, I believe. So if we think about why an individual officer is in the profession that they're in, this vocation, it's to serve. Yeah. So if we're not putting them in situations routinely, frequently to serve somebody, another human being, it's only natural that over time they will, not have fulfillment for their job. So culturally, we need to get back to service. It's not about who's right. It's not about what mission or policy we're driving. It's about the culture. Let's find let's identify what our objectives are, our community missions. Let's identify what resources we have in the department to achieve that. It doesn't matter who gets credit. It doesn't matter what rank. It doesn't matter the seniority. None of that matters. None of it matters. We're building a culture of a team. A team is about how can we fill the needs of like a sports team. How can we fill the needs of the community? How can we win? Everyone's got its strength. Everyone's got a weakness. And we're not, you imagine an NFL team, if the football team says, hey, I'm going to put somebody at the quarterback. They're my friend. They're not the best quarterback, but they're my buddy. And I can trust them. Think about that. You will lose. You will lose the game. You have to put the best player in that role. Like John Gordon says, the energy bus. And you got to put the right guy in the right seat and the right girl in the right bus in the right seat, and everything will be fine and autonomous. And we have too many leaders that are trying to control every narrative, trying to make everything about themselves or not about the community. If you just make it about the community, and we don't think about anything but the community, the job will naturally come to us. We'll be able to fill those needs because we're focused on them, not us, to promote and hire people that on the upper echelons that weren't like that weren't influential, that weren't inspirational, that weren't meeting their officers where they're at, that weren't meeting the community where they're at. They're expecting their officers to meet them. That's not how this works. With officers, and I write about this in the book about adverse childhood experiences. 1 in 5, I believe, 1 in 5 police officers have experienced adverse childhood experiences as a child. That's why we end up in this profession for a lot of us. Yeah. We had something in our past, and we want to help. We want to be a fixer and have a solution. So you could argue that we're kind of broken people in a way. So when we come into this job, and if we see more trauma, more negative, we can get further dysfunctional, further broken, which is okay, because I said earlier, we can come back up. But we have to be in cultured environments where we can heal, where it's acceptable to fall down. It's not, you're not judged, or there's no stigma, you're not ridiculed for falling down. That is the number one thing with mental health. Stop judging people, support them, love on them, help them get back up, and watch them climb back up. A cop that were left before full retirement, you had an asterisk. You asked, like, what's going on? I don't understand what happened. Yeah. Did he get another job? Did he get divorced? Like, you're trying to figure it out. It's more common now, and we have to ask those questions. Why? And we have to be comfortable to get the answer. And usually people leave jobs because of people, not because of the job.
Yeah.
And this is the hardest thing. This is hard. This is where people want to say, oh, he couldn't handle the job, or they couldn't handle the job, or the job was too hard for her. The real rub of it is, and most of the cops I talk to, I couldn't handle them. The person inside my own police department. I mean, this is real. Is the trauma some of it? Sure. But when you love a job and you're willing to take some of the predetermined know about. Nobody told me that, when the first day I started, I'm going to end up working for a man who was toxic and dysfunctional, and he'd be the reason I leave. Nobody told me that. Yeah. But that's the reality. So how do we change the reason? Because he couldn't be honest with the police department. So, and that's not just mine. There's so many. So, but we have to be honest, brother. We have to be honest. And the leaders that are the stakeholders, the ones that are captain of the ship, they can't bury their head in the sand. They can't turn a blind eye because it's not fun. It's not attractive. It's discomfort or uncomfortable. And we grit our teeth about it. This is where the real work needs to begin. This is where we need to put the effort in right now.